Hello, hello, beautiful souls. My name is Diane Lang, and I welcome you to Messages from the Akashic Field. Today we're going to be talking about unconditional love and the twin flame relationship. And really, unconditional love is, how would I put it? The sweet juice that we could bring to everything if we have a healthy understanding of what it means in part, and recognizing that it's one of the things that will grow us the most, because it when you accept a form of love for everything, or a love that you accept that everything can bring you a lesson or something like that, you actually are very empowered in being unconditional towards circumstances versus a victim in a circumstance. So that's a piece, and we'll get more into that and into the twin flame piece. So I'm going to give it a second here, and just like to thank you for coming to the channel. I did a video the other day. It's the first one I've done in quite some time. And I got a beautiful comment that said it was nice to see me back. So I want to thank you for that, and thank the for leaving that comment for me, because when you step away from something and you haven't done it for kind of a long time, there's that, you got to jump back on the horse again, which is also part of empowerment, actually, and in terms of us being self-empowered. So I'm using some new technology, so I'm hoping that works out. I can kind of tell, I can see that I'm live here, and that I'm hoping that it streams through for you guys. And what I would really like you to do, if you want to keep up with the channel and getting messages from the Akashic Field, is subscribe to the channel and then hit the bell notification and get notified in advance when I'm going live, or notified if a new video has been up. And I'm going to be talking about a combination of universal laws, which is, all of it can be seen, that for those that are here for the twin flame information, it all applies. And then universal laws are just understanding at a much higher level that there's a bigger story than this kind of, we're in the physical, and, I'm a woman, I'm from Canada, that there's no bigger story, that I live once, anything like that. That's not in alignment with my beliefs, and it's not in alignment with Akashic records and reading Akashic records, and then helping twin flames and twin souls, because twin flames are coming together through, especially if we're here together in the physical, it's through having, our lifetime of experiences and where we've incarnated, and whether we've incarnated individually or separately at times, because they say that twin flames don't actually incarnate together very often. And that's part of that's what that is about, is one of the souls remains off in the etheric realms to support the human journey, or wherever they're incarnating in. Because if you believe that your soul is more expansive than it's even had just human incarnations, then it would be, where has your soul gone for experiences to advance its ability. You would actually, depending on where you incarnated, you would have different choices and different lessons. But to finish this point, the twin flames will stay in the etheric realm to support the physical journey, the journey where we've entered some form of physical form, because in our etheric form, we're just vibration. We're vibration. We're a being of light. And twins come together in what would be like a yin yang. Twins are the matched, mirrored version, feminine, masculine, yin yang, in unity. And when we incarnate as two separates, you'll have a masculine and a feminine energy in that. And so as twin flames, we will always being called to understand, learn from, apply, and embrace unconditional love. And it's actually what we carry on our wings. Unconditional love is what the twin flame carries on their wing. The masculine unconditional love, the feminine unconditional love, the marriage of the two in the heart, in the wings, the way the wings form a heart. The unconditional love in that, and doing that in the physical. So when we incarnate and then we're in relationship, we've met, we feel like we've connected with our twin. It's not going the way we want it to. You haven't left, they haven't left. I shouldn't say I, because I'm not in a relationship to leave. You haven't come into union. You're questioning whether or not you have one. You're not in alignment with their choices. They're not moving fast enough for us. We're awake, they're asleep. All of that could be acknowledged, but it has to be acknowledged in the energy of unconditional love in true twin flame connection. So in true twin flame connection, we're here to bring unconditional love from the heart, meaning accepting them where they're at in all things, carrying no judgment to their human story that they're now in themselves, because they are a separate physical incarnation. They have very, very, very telepathic information, very connected, often will look very similar, will have the same facial structures, will have eyes. A lot of twins will always talk about that one of the very first things they caught was their eyes. It's like they can speak to each other. They come to each other in dreams. If you intentionally go in and learn how to do the work in the etheric realms to meet your twin in etheric realms, which I'm happy to talk about and teach more about. So let me know in the comments below, put yes, etheric realms in the comments, because it's very powerful. Because first of all, it's based on the belief, though, that you understand you're a higher vibrational being than just the physical. Because you couldn't meet up there if you didn't believe there was an up there to meet at. You couldn't meet up there if your really subconscious belief. So you have to move that belief if you have it. That's one thing that happens to a lot of people, is you have to move that belief if you have it, that if you think only in the physical, it's pretty hard to go into a meditation or to meet your twin in the etheric realm if your underlying belief is there an etheric realm? Can I meet my twin in an etheric realm, in the field of energy? Can I call them to sit in front of me and talk to me and be with me? If you don't believe it, you're very hard pressed to actually ever embrace it and feel it and follow through with it and call them in. But if you do believe it and you practice it and build it like any muscle, you'll find that you can literally just call that relationship or call that energy in, call the field in, call them in, and connect with them immediately. Ask them to show themselves to you. Ask them to send you love, guidance, support, a message, a sign, especially if you need that support at that time. And twins will tend to have synchronistic things. They'll see each other all of the time. They'll end up at the same corner. They'll have something similar about their lives. They'll have almost opposite set of fears. So one will be concerned about commitment, and then the other one will be concerned about infidelity or something. So you will automatically, as you start to communicate, and you can go to them and ask them, what can we do right now to raise our vibrations to bring us into union and enter the field of unconditional love, no matter where we're at? Because the minute you judge somebody where they're at, or you judge what they've done, actions they've taken, something that they're not doing, coming through the way we wanted them to, it's immediately judgment. Judgment moves you out of unconditional love. It's just law. And I think anyone that thinks that through would understand that when it's said that way. Unconditional love, the neutral zone, another version would be being in the neutral zone. When you want to enter a neutral zone about anybody that's triggering you, enter neutral. As soon as you know you have a thought that's in the judgment side, you're out of neutral. So you go back to unconditional love, call them a healing angel, thank them for whatever they're teaching you. They're a blessing to have brought back to me that I haven't really, got over whatever the lesson is. Every single person that we feel victim to has a lesson for us. Every single person, everything, circumstance, every person, every experience. In it, there's a lesson for us if we turn the mirror and look within, look at ourselves. And with twins, we are their vibrational mirror. That's why a lot of us will look like each other. My twin and I look so much like each other when our faces are side by side. I have one sleepy eye. He has the opposite sleepy eye. We have the same structure in here. We have the same dimples. And when several people looked at that picture side by side, my niece screamed out loud, "Oh my God, Auntie Diane, you're going to marry him." And I said, "Why do you say that?" And she said, "Well, you look alike." And I knew it anyways. That's because we are a mirrored match to each other. And it's not to say that they're going to look like you or they're automatically the same race or anything like that. That's not it. But there's a high vibrational place that some of us do actually have that much of a connection. And even in a different, if you are different races, you'll find something about you that's very similar and common at some level. And one of you will have masculine energy and one of you will have feminine energy if you're in the same energy as feminine, or masculine. There's still always going to be that energy. So unconditional love to your twin flame is knowing that if they really, especially one that's woke up and loved you, it like literally understands that they loved you, and they're in a place that's uncomfortable. They've stayed inside of a relationship of pain. They're staying because of their children. They haven't gotten to the place where they've had the courage to leave. You can't judge them for that. We have to love them where they're at. Bar none. No, as soon as you start making excuses, you've left unconditional love. You've left zero zone. You've picked the side of the fence that is not that of unconditional love. And so when you practice it and you build the muscle up towards it, you'll start to recognize the triggers that used to piss you off. The triggers, the ones that, it's like, they did that again, whatever it is. Anybody that triggers us, this applies. But when we get triggered like that and you realize all of a sudden you just kind of keep going back to that zone and saying, well, I have to accept where they're at. It can be your family member. It can be your, somebody in your circle that has drinks too much or something, right? Something that sends us off into a trigger. You can use this. You can build the muscle for this and come back to it over and over again. And then all of a sudden you just go, wow, I'm not even being triggered by that anymore. And you'll feel more happiness towards what's happening to them. You'll feel like you're happy that you've come to a place that you're more peaceful, you're more unconditional, you're not so triggered. And then you don't have this reflection of frustration and anger and disappointment and all of that that's pushing at us and triggering us all the time. So that's kind of I guess, I'll put this in as it's hitting the 14-minute mark. I want to try to keep these videos shorter for now until you guys tell me more of what it is that you'd like to learn about. You can put questions in the comments below if you want to understand certain parts about separation. If you want to look at my work, you can go to Fiverr and you can look me up under Soul Sister Wisdom, and you can look at the gigs that I offer there. I do a lot of work in the etheric realms. That's what I do. I work in the matrix and in the Akashic field. So a lot of my work is, I'm really not third dimensional for my work. If I work one-on-one and live with somebody, obviously that's not the case. But the sessions have gotten so advanced for me. I realized recently I actually haven't had a live client for a long time because I do so much intense work in the field. I put it on audio. I send it to you with all the messages from your higher self, from the field, from your twin, the clearings that go along with it, the upgrades to your story, the clearing of the records, which is kind of like a virus scan defrag and your Akashic records. All the work's dedicated to your twin. We would never step over free will and tell them, you know, they are dedicated everything to receive through their highest self and their free will. And no one should ever step on anyone's free will as deciding ultimately what their spiritual story is or what we think is best for them. And I will generally get very strong intuition and channeling when I'm going through the session for you, and I'm channeling to you in the audios messages that I'm getting that you'll align with as far as them coming from your twin, or that match something that's going on for you, and in which case you'll know that your twin in that regard is sending messages back. I'm getting messages back, which means their field is sending me these messages. If they're getting them through to me, I'm a clairaudient, clairvoyant, channel, empath. So that's like where I'm saying that you can get with me. I invite you guys to join me on my private Facebook group where I talk a little bit about all things. It's a combination of the work that I've done, my kindness chronicles, understanding universal law, the matrix, the Akashic field, and then just good humankind principles and kind of a soul food for the soulful. And that's, you can see there on the screen. So I thank all of you for coming to the video. I greatly appreciate the channel. Hit a thumbs up. It sends it out to YouTube and says, yes, we want to get more of these. They let more people come forward, and more twins and those that want to awake with us come forward. And, you know, that even having our, setting the intention that, you know, as you awaken through your own journey, as you awaken to the truth of what the true mission for true twins is, and carrying that unconditional love into the field and carrying it for ourselves, for them, and for each other, because all the unconditional love you feel for your twin should be reflected back to you in unconditional love for yourself. That's how you really know that you're nailing it. Because you're not beating yourself up anymore. You're coming into a place of unconditional love, and that place of being in that neutral zone and not being triggered, and recognizing I'm human too. So of course I'm going to be sad when that happens, but I'm not going to let it rule everything. My day, my thoughts, my actions, my words, my depression, you know, my behavior, my reflections, my projections. You accept it, you acknowledge it. That sucked. Yeah, it kind of really sucked. And then, you know, you process it, you spend a bit of time with it. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 10 minutes, but if it's still going on the next day and you're still phoning all your friends about it and you're still talking about it, you haven't let it go, and you're perpetuating that side of the fence where you're going way over and off from unconditional love by that point. So acknowledge the human piece, let yourself feel it, and then move on from it after that. So God bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much for coming to the videos. And I look forward to hearing from you. Namaste. Diane Lang, messages from the Akashic field.